Salsa with Uncomplicated Kitchen, and today I'm coming to you in collaboration with Mountain Wise's Produce Prescription Program. On the menu today are some super simple, very awesome black bean tacos and apple salsa. With your freshly washed hands, what you're gonna do is turn your pan on to medium, add about a tablespoon of olive oil. Then we're gonna do all that onion. This is about a half of an onion diced. Give that a quick stir. Keep your pan on the burner and add a pinch of salt. About 1/8 of a teaspoon is perfect here. My onions have sauteed for about 3 minutes. They're a little bit translucent, which means you can see through them. And I've just added my 2 cloves of minced garlic. If you don't have fresh garlic on hand, you can easily substitute dehydrated garlic, like in the spice aisle, but you need to add way less. So if you're doing that, add about a half teaspoon tops. We're gonna add our spices to the pan now. We need 2 teaspoons of cumin, 2 teaspoons of smoked paprika, and then 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. We're gonna toast those spices. We're gonna get as much oomph out of them as possible. And when they meet the fat from the olive oil and the heat, they really get extra fragrant and toasty. And it's gonna do our taco beans just right. These spices have toasted for about a minute and a half. And now it's time for us to add the beans. So 1½ cups of, I'm doing cooked beans that I cooked in my pressure cooker, but this is the equivalent to 1 standard 15-ounce can of beans that are drained. So I'm gonna stir that in really quick. We're just gonna add enough water to cover the beans. They need to have some room to groove, some liquid to simmer in. So that's all we need. For me, that was about a cup. So these beans have to simmer for about 20 minutes total. Perfect timing though for us to make our apple salsa. And we're gonna do that now. We got 3, these happen to be small apples going into the bowl. Right. I use Honeycrisp, but you can use whatever kind you like. So now we're gonna add 1 jalapeno, but I'm gonna show you how to do it to avoid all the seeds and ribs going in your salsa. I'm gonna cut down into one of the sides of the pepper. Oh, perfect. And I'm gonna be able to look in and see where those seeds are. So with the pepper facing up, I'm just going to gently work my knife around, and I'm gonna get kind of 4 quadrants there. There we go. I ended up with 5. Who's counting? I'm gonna make really thin matchsticks. So little matchsticks, just like this. And then I'm gonna gather them all together. And I'm just gonna go through. Little teeny tiny dices. So now we're gonna cut up our scallions. The white and the green part, perfectly good in this case. Just gonna cut off that root end. Make sure nothing looks super, beat up and ucky. And then we're just gonna really finely slice those all the way through. Scallion and jalapeno into the bowl. Now bell pepper. You can go up to a whole bell pepper, but this one is huge, so I'm only gonna use half. Into the bowl. Now for the lime juice. So I'm just gonna give it a roll to help get all those juices out. It's amazing what a good roll can do. Let's squeeze it in. We're gonna use that whole lime. That's a nice juicy lime too. So most people enjoy cilantro in their salsa. I am perfectly honest in saying I don't love it. So I'm gonna use chives instead. You can also use parsley if you prefer. So up to 1/4 cup is great. So I'm just gonna finely chop that and into the bowl. All right, the last ingredient is a nice big pinch of salt. If you have much more salsa than this, like if you had big apples, you can do up to a half teaspoon, but I'm only gonna do a 1/4 teaspoon because my apples were tiny. All right, it's all mixed up, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the fridge for about 15 minutes before we enjoy it. As you can see, there is very little liquid left, and so what I'm gonna do, and this is optional, but I like to mash my beans slightly before serving. Thickens them up a bit, gives them a softer texture. We're gonna shut the heat off and make some tacos. It would be wise to taste and make sure that we don't eat any additional salt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I definitely need a little bit more salt. So I'm gonna add a little sprinkle in, mix it through, and with a clean spoon, I'll taste it again. A good cook always tastes their food. Perfect. All right, I'm gonna use very small tortillas for this, and because they're flour tortillas, I can just warm them in the microwave for a couple seconds. All right, We're gonna pile a little bit of those delicious beans on top of those warm tortillas. We're gonna sprinkle a little bit of shredded cheese. I'm using cheddar, but you can use whatever you like. Salsa! We're gonna add a little bit of our salsa. Now it's time to eat. It's my favorite part. I didn't hear what you were saying because I was too busy eating tacos. Well, everybody, as promised, we made rockin' awesome black bean tacos and super fun and colorful apple salsa. Thank you so much for cooking with me. I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. Until next time, bye.